Making a video game of any shape or size is a serious undertaking. It requires thousands of hours of work across countless disciplines: programming, sound design, writing, marketing, art, animation. But what about the people who are just crazy enough to make part of their game in the real world? Today, I want to shine a light on the painters, sculptors, and crafters who put down their keyboards and pick up a paintbrush. Quick disclaimer, there are tons of games with hand-drawn or hand-painted art that has been done digitally. I recognize that this requires just as much skill as the people who do it, with real paint. Let's start with clay. Harold Halibut is a handmade narrative game about friendship and life on a city-sized spaceship submerged in an alien ocean. It's over 10 years in the making and is planned to come out in early 2024. And even Elijah Wood had something to say about it. Every element in Harold Halibut is tactile and meticulously handcrafted using traditional sculpting and model-making techniques. Couple that with this fascinating setup, taking on the role of a lab assistant, trying to find a way to get your ship up and running again when everyone else has given up hope, and we have ourselves a winner. The game is fully voice acted with a bunch of weird and unique characters, and I highly recommend you go check out the full trailer because it honestly gave me goosebumps when I first saw it. Taking things way back to 1996, we have The Neverhood. It's a cult classic point-and-click game that I haven't had the chance to play, but it looks exactly like the kind of thing I would have rented at my local library back when they had PC games. The game emphasizes solving puzzles through your character's actions rather than having a standard adventure game inventory. And because of this, you can reach game over and have to start the whole thing from the beginning. So maybe look up a guide if you're thinking about jumping into this one. There's also a sequel called Skull Monkeys, and it's a very bizarre platformer. Moving back to the present, we have the very recently announced Moonhood Studio, from some of the creatives behind Lost in Random and Ghost Giant. They haven't officially announced their first game yet, but it is coming to console and PC in both standard and VR. And as you can see, it's gonna be full of these little creepy monsters. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about this one. Last in this section is Vocabulantis, a video game about the first time you held hands, where all you see is crafted by hands. It's a puzzle platformer that'll be playable in both co-op and single player on console and PC, and there are a couple of great behind-the-scenes videos about it floating around YouTube. You play as either Carla or Kurt, two friends who have fallen in love and are a bit shy about it. Development is still chugging along after a successful Kickstarter campaign in 2021, and hopefully we'll hear more soon. Moving on to painting, first we have the beautiful watercolors of Dordogne, released in June 2023. Travel back to your childhood and recall the moments, the panoramas, the scents, the sounds, and the sensations of summer in the countryside. There's something about the delicacy of this medium, painting, and even more so with watercolors. The way the colors effortlessly blur together around the edges. When I look at these backgrounds, there's this overwhelming sense of movement, like I can feel the water swirling around as each and every color was applied to the paper. And it's beautiful. 1 month later, in July, The Master's Pupil was released. It's a puzzle game inspired by the works of Claude Monet and takes you through the painter's life and the cataracts that threatened his eyesight. There's a free demo on Steam that I really enjoyed, and the animation and the way these paintings kind of form around you is something truly special. Next, we have the most fragile medium on the list, paper. In 2021, we were blessed with Pape Tora, an adventure game that tells the story of two little creatures whose house is in danger of being burned down. Everything you're seeing was made entirely with paper by one person, aside from music and sound, and it's all beautifully lit with a whimsical soundtrack to back it up. And I can't talk about handcrafted games without mentioning Amanita Design. They're best known for Botanicula and the Samarast series, and they're currently working on Phonopolis, which is being made with cardboard. Players will take the role of Felix, a thoughtful young man who, along with his fellow citizens, faces the imminent threat of falling under the control of the city's authoritarian leader. Accidentally becoming the only person who consciously recognizes the threat, young Felix must try to stop the leader from playing the absolute tone. Traditional 12 frames per second stop motion, playful puzzles, corrugated fiberboard, this one's got it all. Well, one thing it doesn't have actually is broccoli, and that's what the Dream Machine is for. Kicking off our miscellaneous section is a game made out of a lot of different things, including your favorite tree-like vegetable. It's a point-and-click game about exploring other people's dreams, and it gets pretty wacky. Scarlet Deer Inn is a name you may have seen floating around the internet recently, and that's because all the characters are embroidered and the music is made with traditional Slavic instruments. Discover the story of Elise, a mother of two. She's not exactly extraordinary, and there are no heroic epics written about her. Meet colorful characters and enjoy emotional stories full of unforgettable experiences. The multi-medium lets you explore parallel universes as an interdimensional traveler. It came out in January, and each level of the game is painted or drawn in a different physical medium, scanned and then brought to life in the game. And last is a personal favorite of mine, South Scrimshaw. Part 1 released this summer, and it's completely free on Steam. It's the story of a newborn whale in a vast alien ocean, a visual novel written in the style of a nature documentary. The first part is composed of over 400 illustrations, painted in a mix of watercolor, ink, and digital media, and it tells a fantastic tale. Thank you all for joining me on this wonderful adventure and diving into the messy, inky, paint-splattered world of handcrafted indie games. If you enjoyed watching, you might also like this video I made about photography in games.